Good morning, Monday morning. It's been quite a while since I vlogged. Last week was just jam-packed with meetings I could not get on camera. Pumped to be back and heading now to Haifa in northern Israel to WeWork Labs to give a lecture and office hours. I think the title of my lecture is something like the 2 rules you need to know to raise capital for your startup, and then mentoring startups throughout the day. Then heading to Raanana to meet a very, very good friend, a very special human being named Joe Kalfa, who's a tech investor, good friend, and we had dinner the other night with one of his startups. He showed up with a custom, beautiful 1 in 200 Maserati. Maserati is my favorite car, and I told him, that is my favorite car, I must drive that thing. And he said, drive it? Here's the key, bring it back on Monday. And so I'm bringing it back to him today, and here is the Maserati. You think it's pretty? Wait till I turn it on, listen to this sound. Made it to Haifa. That's the good news. It took me forever to find parking. I can't get over the beauty of this thing. I think the only thing I love more than this car is the key. Look how beautiful that is. Anyway, I circled this parking lot forever basically till I found parking. But I did find parking. Did I lock the car? There you go. Now I need to find an elevator. I am convinced that anybody who designs parking lots in this country has to be on drugs. This thing is ridiculous. Anyway, walking now in Haifa. It's kind of warm here. A lot warmer than where I came from. And yeah, I gotta walk to WeWork. My talk at WeWork starts in 20 minutes. And of course, there's a code on this door to get in, and of course it's locked. Okay, let's find the elevators. I have not been to Haifa in years. This is such a fascinating, fascinating city. Ask me if I know where I'm going. That's a negative. No idea where I'm going. Hopefully I'll find it. But it is a very fascinating city, a very unique city. I find it beautiful. I don't think most people would agree with me about that assessment, but I think it's a beautiful city. Made it to WeWork. I see my old friend here. I feel like we know each other for 100 years. We never actually collaborated until now.
And now we're doing it.
There you go. All right, let's go. I'm following you. Go. Let's go. Just made it, just in time. Beautiful.
Thank you, Hillel, for coming all the way to Haifa. We're really, really honored to have you.
Funny story about that afterwards.
Okay. And yeah, enjoy.
So first of all, perfect timing, because we set this talk, but how long ago?
Like 4 months ago.
Yeah, like 4 months ago. So Thursday night, you can't make this story up. It's a true story. Thursday night, a startup that I've been helping asked me to have dinner with him in Tel Aviv. And so I went to have dinner, and his investor joined us for dinner. His investor pulled up in a custom-made 1 in 200 Maserati to dinner in Tel Aviv. And I was like, dude, listen, I don't mean to be like aggressive and obnoxious, but that's like my favorite, that's like my dream car. I was like, can I feel it? Can I just drive it like, for a minute? He's like, what are you talking about? He goes, here, take the key, bring it back on Monday. So I just drove up here in a Maserati. So I was like, I can take the ride, it's okay in Maserati. Otherwise, I've been in my Mazda. This was good, so I enjoyed the ride up here. So thank you. Thank you for the opportunity to be here and drive my Maserati for 2 hours. And I say my Maserati can get back to me 3 hours from now. It's very sad.
Well, you send Maserati the phone.
I'm actually going to need therapy. Like this thing, oh my God. Okay, anyway. Today, given the tools we have at our disposal, the internet, social media, the things, there is quite literally, and I'm going to give you many examples to prove this point, there's quite literally nothing that is unattainable or impossible to do. And I don't mean to sound like a motivational speaker, but again, I'm going to give you like real examples of things that have happened to me, and you'll understand that like they're completely outrageous. And if you had told me 15 years ago that these things would happen, I would have said you're on drugs. But they happened. And so as entrepreneurs, you know, we're all, or I should say you all, are visionaries, right? You have a dream, you have a vision, and like the big question is, can that vision come to fruition? Can it actually manifest itself in reality? And we all ask ourselves that question, and again, that's my goal today, is to kind of convey to you that literally there's nothing today that's impossible. When I came here, or in the olden days, quote unquote, 10 years, 15, 20 years ago, to live in Israel, to make aliyah, you have to like lower your quality of life. Like living in New York, you live in the dream, right? Today, I don't know about you guys, I don't know if you appreciate it, but I feel like I'm living the dream in this country, especially when it comes to tech. We'll talk a little bit about that as well. First job was at a company called Converse. You guys remember Converse? My job was a technical writer. Anybody know what a technical writer is? So a technical writer, you know when you get your iPhone and it comes with a little user guide that no one reads? That was me, I wrote that. So as you can imagine, not the most exciting job on the planet, but it was a good opportunity to kind of break into tech. Now, today, everyone loves tech. Everyone's talking about startups and social media. It's kind of cool to love tech. Back then, it wasn't a thing at all. It wasn't cool to love tech, and I just always loved tech. And so I'm sitting at my first job, writing these user guides, and I said to myself, this is crazy. Like, I need to be doing something else with my time. And so I opened up a web browser, and I started to write my thoughts about technology. Now today we call that a blog. At the time, nobody was blogging, it wasn't a thing. And so from my perspective, it was a tech diary. I had thoughts, I'm writing them down. There was no business model, there was no SEO, there was no strategy. I didn't care who was reading, it was for me. So people said to me all the time, what are you writing this thing? Like, what's your end game? What are you doing it for? And I'm like, I don't know, I have a job, I'm having a good time, leave me alone. But then it got even crazier because within 4 months, I started getting emails from startups in Israel. Hi Hillel, we read your article on trends in technology, we'd love to meet you. And I was like, why? I'm like, I'm some random guy writing my thoughts. Like, you're CEO of a company, what do you want from me? I didn't understand what people wanted. But I was like, if you want to meet me, I'm happy to meet you. And so I'd sit with this startup CEO, which interestingly, this is a very important point, in Israel is also an engineer. So in Silicon Valley, you have the CEO, you're the engineer. In Israel, the CEO is the engineer. And I found that a lot of these entrepreneurs weren't able to, let's call it crystallize or simplify what they do, focused on value. Why do I care? And then I'd say to this entrepreneur, who are your competitors? What would they say?
You don't have any.
I don't have any. But literally, I got that question that answer all the time. Who are your competitors? We don't have any. And I'm like, you're a fool. Of course you have competitors. Because anybody who's trying to solve the same problem as you, I don't care if you have the same product. Anybody who's trying to solve the same problem as you is a competitor, right? Since I'm helping for free, this guy tells his friend, tells his friend, tells his friend. My inbox looks like not pretty. And they're all saying the same thing. I'm launching a company, I'm told I need to meet you. And I'm like, who the hell told you that? Like, I've never done anything in my life, what are you talking about? But I'm like, I'm happy to meet you. So what ended up happening is I started to see hundreds and hundreds of entrepreneurs. And then the VCs in Israel, the investors were like, wait a second, we want all this deal flow coming to us, they're all going to you. They're like, send us deals, right? You see startups, send them to us. I'm like, okay, consumer company, meet Aleph. Enterprise company, meet Scott Tobin from Battery or whatever. And they start to write checks. And then the startup comes back to me and says, dude, you just brought us $15 million. What's your fee? I'm like, what are you talking about? There's no fee. And at that point, people thought I was on drugs. What ended up happening is, I basically, for simplification's sake, I basically built myself a VC, a venture capital firm, Keren Hon Sikun, Bli Hon, without money, right? Because now I have 35 companies that I'm working with, taking their venture, their idea, their startup, let's call it, turning it into a business. So that includes business development, social content, PR, whatever it may be. And companies, and I've never come to a company and said, pay me. I just tried to help, which is a really, really, really important point. Because turns out, little did I know, but it turns out, being a friar is the best business model. And I say that only half jokingly. And the reason I say that is because, contrary to popular belief, what generally, not only in Israel, but in the world, people view business as a zero-sum game. If I'm paying you something, I need to take money out of my pocket, and I'm losing and you're gaining, right? So in order for you to win, I need to lose. And the opposite. It's actually not true. And that manifests itself in many, many ways, which we're going to go into. But the bottom line is, what I've learned, is business is more like a candle, right? A candle, you have fire. Whatever that fire is, whether it's introductions to people, whether it's knowledge, when you give your fire to others, you create more fire in the world, and you lose nothing. How was the talk?
Awesome. Awesome.
With all my energy, that's all I get? How was the talk? Thank you. All right. The good news is that it went very, very well. Really, really good entrepreneurs. The bad news is that I'm going to Raanana to return that beautiful, beautiful masterpiece of a car. Very, very sad. Well, I made it home. Here's my Mazda. I had to give back the beautiful Maserati. That's the bad news. So Joe would not go on camera. He's super modest, so I could not convince him to go on camera. That's also the bad news. The good news is that we had an incredible meeting. We will be collaborating. I will be learning from him, and I'm pretty excited because He's somewhat of a brilliant dude. Also, one day I will own a Maserati. In other news, tomorrow I'm moderating a panel with the president of Nike Digital. Brought some incredible panelists to meet him, and it's going to be a very, very epic day. See you then.